Welcome back to this week's Nasus Fantasy Podcast. And with me today in the studio is
Emanuel Turesson.
And as usually, me, Markus Vikander. And today we're going to talk about vampires.
Yes.
The vampiric. And I guess we're going to enter different types of media that vampires can appear in. A bit literature, a bit role-playing, perhaps a bit video game.
Of course.
And perhaps some movies.
And some TV shows maybe as well.
Yeah. There's a couple of them. So in what end would you like to begin?
So, do you know how the modern vampire myth started before the most famous book?
So you're saying before Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Correct.
Tough question. I know there has been a lot of different types of folklore about vampires.
Sure.
Primarily in Wallachia and former Yugoslavia region.
Yes.
There is a famous case when Serbia was a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and an officer was sent down to Serbia to investigate a case of vampirism, and he made a formal imperial report back to the royal court. So that's the earliest one I know about. I'm not sure if that's the one you're thinking about.
No, we're going to go into the more of the modern vampire. So I think this is actually what inspired Bram Stoker to write Dracula. So actually during the beginning of the 1800s, there was a man who had a castle. And he invited his friends to his castle, and they usually went there for long periods of time, and they wrote together in a bit of a book club. And the most famous story to come out of this book club at the castle of Lord Byron was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Okay.
But Lord Byron himself wrote a story that was called The Vampire. It didn't have the same spelling as vampire. It was called the more Slavic name, or which was vampire. But that was the start. That was 1819 it was published. And then it went on to inspire Bram Stoker, who was also part of this world, to write Dracula. So that's just a little...
Yeah. But also, it's fun information about this investigation in the Austrian Empire. Because that was also, if I remember correctly, during the 17th century. And as they were investigating this, Austria's main rival was the German Empire. And the biggest difference at the time between Germany and Austria was that Germany had quickly and rapidly industrialized and built out railway networks and started urbanizing their cities. This was a much slower process in Austria. So the industrial area started in Vienna and started to expand throughout modern Austria. But it was an empire with many different cultures and languages. So this made the process a lot slower in the further parts of the empire, which also meant that imperial control wasn't that absolute and standardized throughout the empire. So when these strange killings and reports started coming out of Serbia and the local authorities couldn't handle it, well, then Vienna had to send the military to try and figure it out. And as I remember it, this Austrian officer, who is then, an educated man, a man who believes in science, gets to hear these tales of vampirism and, we have to, it's a vampire that's behind these things. We have to exhume the corpses from the graveyards, and we have to cut off the heads and all this stuff. It must have felt very strange to him, very unnecessary, very barbaric. But throughout the course of this investigation, his report that came back was a report that there is something happening down here in Serbia. I can't explain it. But my recommendation is we exhume all the bodies, we stake the bodies, and we cut off the heads. So that was like a military commander's recommendation. And I think if you Google it, you can read the entire story. There are plenty of YouTube videos about it, so I highly recommend looking into this story because not everybody knows about it, and it's very interesting. And if I remember correctly, you can even find his written report on Wikipedia translated to English, so you can actually read what he wrote.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I haven't actually read the report myself, but I've followed the vampiric myth. I actually did a paper on it in school at once to write about where the different vampires and the myth came from.
Yeah.
Because it interests me to see that something comes and it can be interpreted by different ways. So there are many fun little tidbits about vampires from different types of cultures as well.
Exactly. And I did something similar in ground school. It wasn't an official school assignment, but more as a private project. I wrote down Markus' defense against vampirism. So a little booklet where I acted as some sort of expert in my mind about what was legit and what was bullshit. So, for example, garlic, I consider that to be not true. Not effective defense against the vampires. But for some reason, I did believe that you have to invite them in. So as a general rule of thumb, if a stranger want to enter your home during the hour of the wolf, you say no. So I don't have it anymore, but it would have been fun if my parents had kept that little booklet, because it would have been fun to see what Markus, age 7, thought was the correct way to defend yourself against vampires, as well as a pro and con list about being a vampire, so that you could make up your mind if perhaps you did want to become a vampire.
Because you should always have the facts.
You need the facts before you commit to this life-changing moment. And I also had a pact with a childhood friend where we said, because we both liked vampires a lot, where we promised each other that if either of us were ever turned into a vampire, we would find the other one and turn him into a vampire as well. Because we had decided there in high school that, we want to be vampires.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I get it. But it's fun because there was also, I think, a couple of historical persons that helped to inspire the vampire myths. You have the classical Vlad
Tepes Dracul,
the Impaler himself, and you had the Baroness of Blood,
Carmilla,
who I don't think it's as correct reported, but it was she bathed in blood to keep her youth and stuff.
And you also have the Christian mytho that Cain was the first vampire.
Sure.
Not official church doctrine, but there are theories where you take the story of Cain and Abel and say that it lines up with the idea of vampirism, and therefore that maybe he was the first vampire.
Yeah.
In the case that they do exist in reality. And I know that your favorite franchise when it comes to vampires...
one of them.
Yeah, one of them, Vampire Masquerade. In that world, isn't it official canon that Cain is the first vampire?
Yeah, it is. So the way it works is Cain is the first vampire. He has 3 children who in that case have 13 children, or new vampires. So he makes 3 and they make 13. And these are the 13 clans that have survived to our day.
Yeah. So there are 13 clans.
13 clans.
Yeah, because I've only played the video game.
Yes.
And I don't think there were 13 clans in the video game.
It's not.
Yeah.
Because the way it works is that during the ages, clans has risen and fallen, and then they have the 13 clans.
Like the Austrian Empire.
And many empires between them. The 13 clans have mostly chosen to be either a separate independent clan or be part of a structure that protects the masquerade, which is called the Camarilla.
Yeah.
And the Camarilla is the one that you play as.
Yeah.
And you have the two rival clans that are part of the Sabbat.
Yeah, I remember that, the Sabbat.
So mostly of those are the clans that you can see. And the independent clans are out there, but they're not in the same. Depends on where in the story and where in the world you are as well.
But another interesting thing about that as well is if you've seen the Underworld movies, which are very similar to Vampire the Masquerade, and if I remember correctly, they were even sued for copyright infringement.
They were, and they settled.
They settled the case, yeah,
because they borrowed a lot, made it their own, but was perhaps a bit too inspired.
Yeah, and I mean that's a hard line, you know. When do you cross from being inspired by another work and making it your own version, and when is it stealing?
Sure, and I think the big way is how things are. I mean, it's just one of the most fun quotes I remember about when they was making all of these Vampire and the Masquerade books. They had to tell the fans and the writers, not the writers, the image maker, we don't want any pictures of Lestat. We can't use those.
Yeah.
Because everybody was drawing Interview with the Vampire, which had inspired them, but they didn't copy the story. They was inspired. But that's the reason why I was thinking about going into this episode, because there is a new series about the Vampire Chronicles, which is Anne Rice books.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, many of these books, and those are coming with a new season soon in the beginning of summer here. And I'm looking for it.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed all the series based on her works. And, you know, the sad thing is that you get to see this great TV success after her death. Because they did make a movie with Tom Cruise and...
the first one.
Yeah, the first one I'm thinking about. Yep. Tom Cruise and was it Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas is in that.
Yeah. Huge cast. Heavy names. Although I wasn't completely sold on Tom Cruise as Lestat. I think the actor who played him in the TV show did a better job. But that's my personal opinion.
I think during the time it came out, he was good in it. And I watched both, and I can appreciate both for being in a different time and a different way of looking at everything. So I actually, but they did make a Queen of the Damned movie as well.
I haven't seen that one.
With there was a famous, was an infamous thing, because the actress that played Akeisha, was a young rapper, and she died in a flying accident during when she was on the rise. I think she was called Aliyah.
Aliyah, okay.
But she was really good in the movie. I've found, and they made it really different in tone than the Brad Pitt movie. But for those who have read the books, I can say that they both follow the books in different ways. So, and I think if you look at the TV series, they focus a lot on the LGBTQ thing of vampires in Anne Rice's works. And sometimes I could feel that it was a bit too much.
Yeah, a bit overdone.
But it didn't take over the plot completely.
No,
It's
exactly.
still in my memory of the books, it wasn't that in your face all the time.
Yeah.
Which it could be in the series as well. But I still found the series very enjoyable.
Yeah. And also, if you move over from her works, 2025 and the years around has really been the year of Dracula. There's been a lot of Dracula movies.
Yes.
You had a black and white version, which they didn't call Dracula, but it's basically Dracula. I think they named it Nosferatu.
Yeah, but isn't that based on the first vampire movie that ever made?
No, this one is, it's like you have Van Helsing, you have Count Dracula, although he's has a different name.
Okay.
Count Olav or something.
Yeah, but Count Olav was the one that was in the name of the one that was called Nosferatu in the old. But it wasn't anything about, because they didn't have the rights to Dracula.
Yeah. No.
So maybe they combined it.
Yeah, they've combined it. So it's basically, the same storyline as Dracula, but with a different name and some different nuances. But yeah, so I think you might be right there that they did a combination of both of them.
Yeah.
And then you have the new Dracula movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I saw recently that it's available now on Amazon Prime. So I'm going to see it, but I haven't had the time to do it yet.
And I think it is a new show as well on its way.
Yeah, I think so. And also you had the movie about the Demeter. So just that part from Dracula, which I really liked and enjoyed. Thought it was a good movie.
And there was a fun thing about, there was an there was a movie prior that was called Shadow of a Vampire, where there was a story about when they made the original Nosferatu in the 1919s, that was a real vampire. That looked exactly like
I remember that movie. I don't remember the name, but I remember seeing it, that they think that he's an actor first that's really method. But he's a real vampire.
But he's old and like feeble. It's not a really good vampire any longer, but he's like keeping it in there.
Yeah, it's super method. And so there's been a lot of good vampire movies, but you also have the old vampire TV shows. I've seen... God, what's the name of that show again with Alexander Skarsgård and...
True Blood.
Yeah, True Blood. I saw the first couple of seasons of True Blood way back. I never saw the Vampire Diaries. I haven't seen that or the spin-off shows connected to that universe.
And Buffy was a big one as well.
Buffy the Vampire Killer.
And there was actually... I'm going to name drop something here. And we're going to check, because now we're going... extremely outside the box here. Do you know the name Aaron Spelling?
No.
So Aaron Spelling was like the soap king in Hollywood. He made Beverly Hills and many of these different like ever-going soaps. And he got his hands on the World of Darkness IP. And he started and did, because he also did the Bewitched series and stuff. So he did a lot of producing different types of teenage dramas and stuff. And he got a hold and made the Vampire, the Masquerade TV series that was called Vampire the Embraced. Only made it because... for one season, because the main actor Kyle Walker, he was in a car accident.
Okay, yeah.
So there's something about eternal beings and tragedy always
seems to be connected. And also you have a very special vampire movie that is also a documentary about a US president and his secret side gig. And once you see this documentary, it makes a lot of the historical events of that period make a lot more sense than if you go to school and you don't have you feel like there is a missing piece of the puzzle. And of course, I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln.
Vampire Slayer.
Yes, great documentary, great reenactment of the historical events.
Yeah.
Because it's completely true.
I really loved the way the author chose to make that autobiography. Because he went into a bookstore and he looked at the two greatest selling novels. It was Abraham Lincoln's and the Twilight books. And he was like, let's combine them. Yeah. And get the true story out there.
Yeah. True investigation.
Because I haven't read the books.
No, I've only seen the movie and I thought it was really funny. And about that sort of silly movies, just a quick side note that me and Kelly yesterday saw a movie. I don't remember the name now. It was some B-list movie on Amazon. We just wanted something simple. Where the plot line is that a couple of young people are going out to an area for a little bit of vacation. And Stephen King lives in that area. So they all get killed in different ways from Stephen King novels.
Oh.
So one of them is a big Stephen King geek. So he's the one who starts noticing that we're all getting killed off in the same way as in his different books. So he tries to use his, Stephen King knowledge to get him out of trouble. And every single one of them is like a strict stereotype of teenagers getting killed in horror movies. So it was a movie that didn't take itself too seriously, which really played to its effort.
Interesting, because I have a big place in my heart for these type of movies.
Yeah.
Vampire movies has always find themselves to be, I mean, the Gary Oldman Dracula is always near to my heart when it comes to all those, but there's a history of them.
Yeah.
And there's something reassuring that it doesn't matter if it's 1919 or it's 2029. We're going to have vampire movies.
Yeah.
At least that.
Yeah. You can always count on a fresh Dracula adaptation.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter how crazy the world outside is. You can just go on. I found a movie because I collect DVDs of these crappy movies as well. I think I have one that's called Suck, which is about a vampire infecting a rock band just going on tour. It's as silly as it sounds. But you have as well the short TV series Salem's Lot, which is a Stephen King movie, which has one of my favorite scenes in any adaptation of any horror film. Because the sheriff there is like, there's so much crazy stuff going on. I'm taking all my vacation, I'm going to my sister in another state, and he's never seen the rest of the movie. Yeah. He just says, I'm out.
I'm out. The only sane man.
He's doing what everyone should be doing. No, not this. I'm going to go investigate. He's like, no, I'm not investigating.
And you also have this also old vampire movie. I haven't seen it myself, but my father told me about it when I think it might have been the 80s. And it was in the United States, and he went to a matinee in like Harlem. And I think the movie was called something like Count Blackula. So it was basically a black Dracula sucking the blood out of white people.
Oh, okay.
And as he was sitting there in the cinema, and when Count Blackula came along and started sucking the blood, the audience went haywire. Get that whitey! And he said he was probably the only white guy in the audience.
I think it sounds more of a exploitation or a black exploitation movie because I've actually seen the Black Dracula. It's called A Vampire from Brooklyn with stars Eddie Murphy.
Oh, okay.
It's not good.
No? You have those shitty vampire movies. And you also have the Netflix one where there is white vampires taking over. I think it's Brooklyn or Harlem. and just this group of black teenagers that are figuring out that this evil corporation that is buying out all the tenants is actually run by white vampires, and they have to stop the white vampires.
Yeah, and for me, who's an 80s kid, you have the Lost Boys as well. The Lost Boys was like an epiphany of a new type of vampire, where you had like this cool punk looking, and it was Kiefer Sutherland, and he was like the king of everyone, and he was like the coolest vampire for a while there. So there's so many genres, and many people have forgotten that it was vampire and all the lore that comes with vampires that started the comic revolution that we see in cinema today.
Okay.
Because the first superhero to make it big wasn't Iron Man. It was Blade.
The coolest freaking guy ever.
There only will be one Blade.
But aren't they doing a new Blade?
Yeah, that's the why.
Yeah. But I haven't heard anything about the project in a long time now.
No, I don't know.
Yeah?
I'm not following the projects as I did once. Now I'm just looking at, they're releasing. I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah. I really love the Blade movies. The Daywalker.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And Wesley Snipes was...
Yeah.
He was the king of being cool in that era.
Yeah.
And that was also fun, because many people do look at the stereotypical, like if you look at the old school, every type of vampire is old European vampire usually from Transylvania, and you have the Bela Lugosi, I will drink your blood.
It's like I like this.
But you can find it and modernize it in any way you want. And that's what's so fun about it.
Yeah, and I remember that the Vampire Masquerade game, the old one, which was my entry point to that franchise.
So did you start with the first person one?
Yeah, the first person RPG PC game.
Yeah, so you're talking about Bloodlines 1.
Yeah, Bloodlines 1. And as I played that, the part of the world building that I really liked was this, they live in our world, but they have this organization doing their best to make sure that humanity don't know that vampires are real.
Yeah.
And I like to play with that thought and that idea, and I figured out, maybe it could work in reality, because, you have the blood banks, you have all hospitals, you have ways to get access to blood without it getting out too much, which you couldn't really in the same way in the medieval age.
Yeah. And there's so many fun parts of that story as well, how they have tried to translate it. So Vampire the Masquerade was huge in the 90s, and they usually took the way of having control of the news. And so when the internet started to move on, they had to adapt.
Yeah.
So what they did was, as soon as something leaked online, they just made troll accounts. Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
This fake stuff here. Oh, look at these 8 fingers. It's so stupid.
Clearly deep fake generative AI.
So as soon as something came out, they just put the internet troll fabric on it and dismiss it. So everyone look, that's the fake one. I don't.
Yeah.
And because it hasn't been real, your mind knows that it shouldn't be real. So you have offended it to not believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why they can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. And also on the flip side, you have, if we go back to True Blood, if I remember correctly, a bit of the plot line there was that vampires are real had been revealed to society, and they were becoming integrated into the United States of America, so that vampires and humans could coexist and both have rights.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I remember from that TV show.
that was so long time ago, which it's probably not that far anyway. Because when you look at when something was made or something, it's always different than you remember it. But I feel that it's.
I don't remember the exact political structure, but I have clear memories that there were like scenes from TV interviews, and that there was some sort of office for vampire affairs, and you know, when there was discussions of killings, that the representative from the vampires would say, "Oh no, we wouldn't do that. That's you know, hurtful stereotype. This is vampire profiling." And
vampire profiling.
Just because someone has been drained of all their blood, you cannot automatically assume that it would be us. Please, that was a being negative. Nobody would drink that in their sane mind.
Yeah, and I think I think it was Mel Brooks did Dead and Loving It, the Dracula movie.
Yeah,
where he was like, yeah, well, if somebody has drained a complete man of blood, do you know how much blood? So that's why now you just have to stake her, and he runs away.
Yeah, and hides.
And it's like a fountain.
Of blood. Yeah, that movie is really great as well. And the vampire almost must have the last word. And the vampire comes in the background, keeps saying something all the time because he must have the last word. It's really strange, that Count Dracula. Is there something wrong with him?
Now, there has been a new type of games. I haven't been able to play them as much because of time. But I think they started to something really interesting for a while ago. And I would like to go through them. I have played one or two of them right now, but they started to make in the World of Darkness, because Vampire the Masquerade is part of the World of Darkness. It's not just vampires; it's mages and werewolves and other stuff as well. But not for tonight's podcast. But they started to make interactive novels. So you have a novel with choices that explores your character's story, but it's just with made for like tablets or PC, and you read all the text, and you get a feel for the characters. It's really good writings in them, and so you can follow the different. And they take part in different parts of the world, and so it's interesting. I would like to try a bit more of them.
Yeah,
to be able to see how they been doing, because what I heard is that they released the really what's the name of it? They expected it. It's now that
didn't reach expectations.
Yeah,
You're thinking about Bloodlines 2.
Bloodlines 2.
The true horror story of today's episode. Because I've been a long-time fan of Paradox Interactive, which is a Swedish game studio. And when they acquired the rights and they were going to do Bloodlines 2, I really looked forward to it because I liked the first game so much. I had a lot of respect for Paradox as a game studio. And then on and on it went. And the problem with the second game is that because it has the title it has, it's a very different sort of game. And you know, the expectations were so high. So I haven't tested the game yet, but I do believe, which a lot of critics have said, which is if it had simply had another game title, it would probably have been well received, because it lacked a lot of those RPG elements from the first one, which automatically became expected because this is the sequel. So if they had just called it something else, and said it is like the Vampire Masquerade world, but it's a different game franchise, perhaps it would have succeeded a lot better.
Yeah, and it was, I heard, because I haven't played it yet, but it was supposed to be a bit more action-oriented.
Yeah, it's very action-oriented. The development studio they switched to that finished the game, they're good at action games. So they did what they're good at. And they needed to get a finished game.
Called the Chinese chair or something?
Yeah, something like that. And so they basically redid the entire game. They threw out everything the prior studio had done and started over from scratch. So nothing from the original promos and commercials are actually in the game, which is sort of sad because it looked really good. So I'm curious why these problems happened.
What many don't actually remember, that the first game, Bloodlines, I call it the first game. It's not in this series. It's the first one, Bloodlines. Actually killed the studio that made that as well, because Troika Games wasn't able to make it completely playable after release. The fans helped with the patching of the game because it was a. Now, don't get me wrong. If you get your hands on that game today, it's available on Steam. It's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's very playable today.
And you have. I think the reason why it resonates with so many is because of the different play styles. The different clans will help you to get different viewpoints. If you're a child of Malkav and you get your orders from the TV, you will have something else than if you're a Toreador or a Ventro who are of the old and fine blood.
Yeah, and I remember the first twist in the game, that is original underboss that you meet in the first level, the sisters, that are actually the same person. I didn't see that twist coming. And I was a teenage boy, and teenage boys. So my vampire I played, he was very, there's a hot lady who wants me to do stuff. Of course I'm gonna help her. So I was helping both of them. I was switching side the second she was asking me for help. It was like, yeah, of course I'm loyal to you. Oh, there's the other hot sister. Of course I'm loyal to you. And then they turn out to be the same person. It's like, okay, how do we sort this out?
That's the fun part of the different clans and everything, is that there's some reason why they're doing it, and other reason aren't so clear why the clans are doing the stuff they are. So it's really, really fun. I really liked the plays. It's not as fun the second playthrough, but when you have to go through the house with the wraith,
exactly.
I find that way of getting to the story where you have to go through this haunted mansion.
Yeah, and the first time I played that level, it was so scary that I couldn't finish it myself. I needed help from a friend in school. And we both found it super scary.
I really liked it. And the reason why I was asking before, because my first game was another game that's called Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, where you played like a knight in medieval times, and then you do a lot of quests in the medieval. You're in Prague, and then you get into the way of in the game world. It's called torpor, which is like a coma, where you can sleep for centuries. And you wake up in the modern times, but you're a knight.
Okay, cool.
Was
that a 2D or 3D game?
It's like an early 3D game, but you could move the camera, so it's more like a Diablo type of game. But you could had a lot of interaction with the clans and stuff that you could see when you and the different guns was completely different when you came to the new world. You could start to, instead of, you started with a fire axe, or then you're like, wait, they have machine guns here. It's much, this is fun. And if you, they was of course making a game, so they weren't completely true. You could learn some stuff through books and stuff, and it was, but the main feeling of the game was really good. So I was really excited when they're supposed to make the new one. But I've started to look at, they have, Paradox has in the time now put out a lot of games in that world. And I'm thinking of giving it a big deep dive to go through a lot of the games It's just this small problem I have the time to play everything, because there's another vampire game that's I want to play as well, which is more of building your own vampire dungeon and stuff. So you're supposed to, and you have to go out and torture the villagers and stuff. You're supposed to be like a medieval vampire, and follow the traditions of
vampirism. Yeah, and it was also now a bit older game where you played as a physician during the Spanish flu. Yeah, vampire. And I played that one, and it was really good as well, because you had this game mechanic where you had to balance your humanity with succumbing to vampirism. And because the character is a physician, so he doesn't want to hurt people. So you also had the system where you do at some points in the game, because you can go through the entire game without drinking blood, and then you never get any vampire powers, and the game will be really, really hard. So instead of there being a difficulty setting between easy, normal, and hard, it's how much blood you drink that determines how hard it's going to be. If you go all in vampirism, you become really strong and you can just breeze through the game. But I like playing it that, okay, I have to balance it. So you can actually interview people, do side quests, and figure out who deserves to get vampired off. And just take those people and nobody else.
Yeah, and we have the vampire in The Witcher as well. We have can't
Regis,
forget that vampires are also in regular fantasy.
Oh yeah. Regis is a very central character in the books and also in the video game. They had an entire expansion pack, Blood and Wine, which had a vampire focus, where Regis is an important side character.
Yeah, and I remember I played a game that was during the point and click era. Was made by Sierra Studios, but then it was called Quest for Glory. So the first one was more of Germanic tales.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And second was more of Arabic tales. And the third one was more African tales. And the fourth one, you went into the Slavic tales with vampires. And that was really fun. It's one of the first games that I played that was actually voiced with real voices.
Yeah, so not just reading text.
Well, no, but you had to have the CD version for it. So if you had a disc version, you still had to read.
Oh, and we can't forget the original huge vampire game franchise, Castlevania.
Yeah,
those were also huge.
And there was some cartoon vampire duck as well, I think. Like Count Dracula or something as well. It was.
Yeah, so vampires are everywhere. Perhaps behind you right now.
Yeah, and we will continue to speak about them and let them come through and see where they will take us on our next upcoming journey. Probably the next big thing we will discuss maybe a little later when the complete series, at least the season has concluded. We'll maybe go back to the Vampire Chronicles and the interview with the vampire to see how they take on the new season here, the season 3, where it's more based on Book of the Damned and Queen of the Damned.
Yeah, Queen of the Damned.
And the vampire.
And we will probably have a side episode where we will untangle a bit of how vampirism is handled in my own book series, Nasus Legend.
Yeah.
The final part came out on the 25th. So those of you who have already read through it will know what there will be to discuss, because we get to know a thing or two.
But I think it's good that we maybe do that around the same time, because then people have a time to read
it, digest it, drink it.
Drink it in, man.
Yes, drink it in.
And then they can be prepared to see it. So that will be fun.
Yeah.
To see, because it's fun when we find a subject. This is we're scratching the surface right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
And I think our boss will be able to join us another time and discuss
Join
some.
in on the conversation about the vampires.
Yeah, because I think she has seen the diaries and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, she's seen a lot of vampire stuff.
So that would be fun to see her take and experience as well.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna end it there for today. But first, a very special announcement from today's sponsor. Yes. Today we are talking directly to you humans from the International Confederation of Vampire Survival. With a small donation, you can help a thirsty Slavic vampire. By giving $10 a month, you can send an entire virgin to a starving vampire. They speak about the children of Africa, but they never speak about the thirsty vampires.
Det står ju, it says L. Ron Hubbard Foundation on the...
Do not get confused. Do not focus on the fine print. Just send the money now via Batmail.
we'll
And
see.
no garlic.
And with that said, just keep on reading and have a nice day now.
Have a good one.